In healthcare, we are in dire need of a cultural facelift. And I believe that by asking ourselves these questions, by being consistent and vulnerable and deep, and by checking in with ourselves and with those around us, that we can start to change that culture. That by genuinely caring about the humans, both the patients that we take care of, ourselves, and others who are helping to deliver that healthcare, that is how we're going to take those first steps to change the culture of healthcare. Welcome to The PA is In, the show created by PAs for PAs, where codependency with your supervising physician is a thing of the past, optimal team practice is the future, and physician associate has taken the place of physician assistant as the professional title of choice. I'm Tracy Bingaman, and I'm obsessed with redefining what success as a PA looks like and what it feels like. Here you'll find the mindset shifts, systems, and processes I use to escape healthcare burnout and integrate my work into my life. Work-life balance is a myth, and an integrated life where you thrive professionally, not a balancing act, is the goal here. My mission is to help you to grow into a unicorn PA who loves their job, has abundant energy, time to spare, and work-optional financial freedom. The PA is in. One of my very favorite things about being a podcaster is crossing paths with other incredible podcasters. If you love this show, especially when I share about my experience with healthcare burnout and recovery, you're going to want to check out the podcast, Burnout, What I've Learned So Far, hosted by my friend Meg Letty. Meg is a former CT surgery PA turned advocate for healthcare provider wellness. Turn in to hear how she recovered from burnout and integrated well-being into her life to create a life of dreams, not nightmares. Add Burnout, What I Have Learned So Far with Meg Letty to your podcast queue to start your journey to wellness and healing today. Earlier on in my career, I realized there was something that was missing. Sure, I had a job that was exciting and fulfilling and met my needs clinically and from a challenge standpoint, and I had a really great income. Now, this waxed and waned over the years depending on how burned out I was and where I was working clinically. But still, despite all of that and having a very fulfilling life outside of work, there was this missing piece. What I've realized over the years was what was missing was this element of regularly checking in with myself and those around me working in healthcare. The opportunity to reflect and relay what was going well and what I was struggling with as a part of existing as a human who worked in healthcare. In fact, just this week, I was voice messaging a couple of my closest friends, and I asked them what is something that's going well in their life, an item or area where they're making progress, and what is an area they are struggling in. It was fun to hear what they're working on and what's going well and what's going, less well, or what is going smoothly and what they're struggling with. It just deepened the level of our connection. So I shared with them in a follow-up voice message that, to answer my own question that no one in fact asked me, I was feeling good about some recent changes to my diet. I just gave up gluten with the plan to trial 6 months of gluten-free living under the advisement of my integrative health provider. And it's not actually as hard as I thought it was going to be. And an area that I'm struggling with and working to untangle in my mind is body image and weight. I really want to feel strong and energetic and healthy and powerful, but the habits that lead to those changes leave me wanting to fixate on things like my weight and my jean size that I know are not truly reflective of my overall health and wellness. All of this to tell you that the power of touching base with ourselves and to see how things are going in our own lives, that asking deep and meaningful questions of ourselves is in fact important. Today, we are going to unpack 5 questions that unicorn PAs are asking themselves regularly and that they're asking each other. And we're going to cover how we can use these questions to build deeper connections within ourselves and a deeper understanding of who we are, but also within our networks. Connection is an incredibly powerful thing. Connecting to our inner knowing and those in our lives It's just something that I cannot say enough of how much of an impact it has made on this journey for me. And these 5 questions are designed to do just that. So, without further ado, here are 5 questions we should each be asking ourselves and each other. Question 1: what are you grateful for? This sounds pretty simple because we probably know at this point that gratitude is powerful. And starting with thanks is a great springboard to any self reflection or deepening conversation we're having with our colleagues. Being able to ask yourself to identify specific things that are making you thankful in life or in work is an excellent way to start this exercise in self reflection. There's actually a lot of scientific evidence that supports why being thankful and practicing gratitude can help us to live better lives. Gratitude has been shown to improve physical and mental health, our relationships, and increase resilience and overall well being. Starting a self reflection practice with gratitude helps us to set the tone for the rest of the questions. It grounds us in seeing blessings, and it helps to get you in the mindset of looking for aspects of your life that are optimistic. And also, there is always, always something to be thankful for, even when things are hard. The best gratitude practices are the ones where you answer things that you're grateful for specifically. Instead of saying, I'm grateful for my job, I'm grateful for my health, I'm thankful for my family, I want you to get granular and zero in on the specific people and the aspects of those things that you're grateful for that are very specific details and even specific recent experiences. Think of things that you are grateful for both at work and at home. Identify who you take care of in your job and who exists in your life at home. Share what you are thankful for, even when you're in a hard, tough season. You could argue that gratitude is more important and powerful than ever when you're walking through trials or burnout or tribulations in your life. It's pretty easy to find abundant things to be grateful for when things are going well, but it really stretches us to find things that we're thankful for when things are hard. When we're walking through a valley, when we're in a tough season, that's really when we grow that gratitude muscle. In fact, if you think about building muscle specifically, flexing any muscle in the face of resistance is what actually makes it stronger. And that same principle applies to gratitude in a situation when you're burned out. Of all of the questions, gratitude is the one that is best used as often as possible. Try to integrate gratitude into your daily practice, journaling, or your nighttime routine. And you will find that you start looking for opportunities of things that you experience during the day or observe that you want to say, hey, I was grateful for that moment when this specific thing happened. It starts to change the lens through which you see the world, and it will increase your gratitude. Question 2: what am I looking forward to? In even the darkest season, seeing a light of the end of the tunnel that isn't an oncoming train is so important. Taking time to look forward and say, what am I looking forward to, does several things. It's future pacing. It gets your eyes up from everyday tasks around you and encourages you to raise your sights for what is to come. It helps you to create a plan for where you're going and get excited about your destination. It can be pretty easy when you're practicing medicine to sort of be head down and focused on the tasks that are right in front of you. Asking yourself what you're looking forward to forces you to kind of come up for air, to look forward, and to ask yourself hard questions about where you are and whether that's a place that you want to stay. And if it's not, where are you headed, or what would you rather be doing? Or even if it is a place that you want to stay, are there tweaks that you could make to your practice pattern or things that you could start doing to set yourself up so that there are things, projects, opportunities, changes in the future that you're able to look forward to? It also reminds you that the way things are right now is, in fact, temporary. Humans are naturally forward thinking, so it's pretty fun to get hyped up for what's coming next in your career and your life. And sometimes we need that reminder that what we're walking through right now is not how it's going to be forever. I found myself doing that a lot when I was working inpatient on the first half of the COVID pandemic when things were very scary and very overwhelming. And when I was driving to work and it was like the zombie apocalypse had happened, there was no one else on the road. Everything was shut down, no traffic. My commute, which wasn't that long, was super, super short just because so few people were going to work. And that reminder that things were temporary and that the way that things are in that moment is not how they're going to be forever, and that the one constant in this life is change, and that you can't get comfortable with the way things are because they're already changing and you're already going to have to keep up with things, helped me to get through some of those scary first times with nursing, toddler at home and young children I was coming home to when I was like changing clothes in the garage, and we just really weren't sure what we were dealing with in terms of the virus. So answering the question, what am I looking forward to, is an important tool if you've been feeling stuck or lost or like you've plateaued in your life or your career. It gives you this opportunity to actually be intentionally excited about what's coming. Now, if you try to answer this question and you come up short, maybe that's a cue that you need to intentionally schedule some time to figure out what you think is next for you, or even a fun couple of days where you can look forward to the activities that you have on the calendar. If you only take one sheet of paper to your next negotiation, let it be the PA Pay One Sheet. It's a tool designed to walk you through setting up the ideal outcomes, assessing the situation you are negotiating in, and it even includes a reminder of which negotiation skills you can use. Stop what you are doing. Download the One Sheet, print it out, fill it out, and literally bring it to the table with you when you are negotiating next. It's designed specifically to work in healthcare settings wherever you are. You can use the PA One Sheet to get the best deal, the biggest raise, and to help your confidence walking into your next negotiation. Head to www.tracybingaman.com/one, that's ONE, to download your free copy of the PA Pay One Sheet and start prepping for your next negotiation today. It's linked in the show notes, but in case you missed it, it's at www.tracybingaman.com/ONE. Question 3, what is going well for me right now? We get so caught up in complaining that we often drive right by the opportunity to focus on the good in our day-to-day lives. Let's face it, we don't voice text or call our best friends or colleagues and say, today was just a really great day. Things ran smoothly, the systems we had set up worked, and nothing went wrong. Similarly, we don't call them when our spouse does something like nice or even like not over the top, but just like today was good. No one tantrumed. Everyone went to bed without a fight. We're much more likely to get them on the phone and rant when things don't go well. When our shift was a dumpster fire and everything with bedtime that could have went wrong went wrong. Answering this question, what's going well for me right now, identifies this opportunity to celebrate what is truly good and to shine a light on the positives that do exist in our life. What is going well for you and your team right now is a particularly powerful question when used in community. When you're connecting with others, answers to this question can spark inspiration within you to make improvements in your own life, in your own team, in your own clinical practice. These can be small things like a new tactic to communicate effectively and connect with patients, or big things like process improvement projects that just went live. But the answers that your colleagues might have to this question, what's going well for you right now, can spark motivation and inspire you to make changes. When is the last time you thought about, and I do mean really thought about, what's going well in your life and at work? The areas where you are really confident that you're practicing evidence-based medicine, the conversations that you just feel like you're super comfortable with and you have figured out that maybe were at one point in your career a challenge. The system and habits that you've put in place that are working well, it's important to celebrate and highlight those things. Asking what's going well gives you this opportunity to acknowledge the work that led to the winning in that way. We are all super busy doing the actual work that sometimes we achieve the goal and we forget to celebrate and marvel and revel in the fact that we did the thing and that it went smoothly and that hard work paid off. Question number 4, where are you struggling currently? Sounds a little bit like that interview question that we all dread about our own weaknesses, right? We love to talk about our strengths, especially to potential employers. And all too often, we don't want to admit that we struggle with anything ever, or even that we have any weaknesses. It's not a mind blowing or earth shattering question, but truly, when is the last time you took a look and took time to ask yourself what specifically you're struggling with? Not if you're struggling, but what specifically you're struggling with. Medicine is a challenging field, and juggling a job that is a calling and a life that you love and that you sometimes might wish that you could spend more time living and less time working can lead to lots of struggles. You could be struggling to connect with your patients in the allotted length of your appointments. You could be struggling to juggle peer to peers and have time to eat and get some sunshine and take a breath over lunch. Or you might be struggling to deal with the mounting stress that simply comes along with working in medicine. Maybe your relationships have started to suffer because of the way things are at work. Or conversely, maybe something challenging has cropped up in your life that is negatively impacting your ability to focus on and be present at work. Another great question to ask in a community with providers and people in your network. There is something so affirming about hearing that you are not the only one struggling with a certain thing, or even that others that you perceive a certain way, like strong, unflappable, super capable clinicians, are in fact human, just like you. You may be both surprised and encouraged to be vulnerable and share your answer, and also to ask those who you are in community with in healthcare how they are doing with this question about what they are struggling with. When we share the struggles, the hard things, our real truths, this is when that network and those relationships reach another level. Connections deepen and stronger bonds are forged when we are vulnerable and sharing our imperfect selves with each other. I would venture to guess that when I shared that I was struggling with sort of untangling health and weight and all of those things in my mind at the beginning of the episode, that you felt a little bit more connected to me. You felt like you knew a little bit more about me. When I think about this question of struggle in my current clinical practice, I have shared a little bit about this on the show in the past, but I had this interconnectedness between my own identity and the fact that I was a PA. And I still struggle with that when it comes to specialty. I work in plastic surgery. A lot of what we do is aesthetics. And I help my patients to feel more confident. I help them to feel better about the way that they look in the mirror. And I think that is such a valid pursuit. But there is a part of me who misses the inside of the abdomen, who will always love the surgical aspect, which I don't do in my current practice. I'm struggling with sort of reminding myself that it is temporary and that this practice may not be where I am forever and ever. And I don't know the future, and that is okay. That we don't have to know where we're going in order to feel happy and content and safe and evidence-based where we are. Question number 5. What do you need help with? It's a humbling experience to ask in a room of achievement-minded healthcare professionals or in a text chain of the best and brightest from your PA school class to say, I need help. It's ironic that in a profession that feels called to help and heal others, that we have such a hard time admitting that we occasionally need help ourselves. Here is the magical part of asking for help. The more specific you can be about how you need help, what needs to be done, and even if you can identify who is best to lend a hand, the better your results are. When you can identify exactly what you need and directly communicate those needs, it's easier for those in your life to meet that need specifically. For me, this has manifested a lot in my marriage, right? So I had this expectation that Dan would know what I need and give me what I need, even though I didn't know what I need or ask him for what I needed, which if you got lost in all of the times that I said need in that statement, I was expecting him to read my mind, know what I wanted and give me what I wanted, even though I wasn't intimately familiar what was in my mind. And spoiler alert, no one's partner, spouse, or colleagues are mind readers. So if you are struggling with something, saying I need help is an okay thing to do. I know everyone is stressed and overcommitted and overscheduled. So don't be discouraged if you mention needing help with something and you get nods and yeses and people are like, oh, yes, for sure. And then you have to circle back with a reminder and another ask for those who could help you, but maybe didn't because they got busy with their commitments in their own life. Don't forget to be your own advocate, just as you would do for a patient when it comes to getting support in your life or at work. Our lives are not meant to be lived in isolation. Community and collaboration is part of the human condition, and so is struggle and success and things going well and things going not so well. In healthcare, we are in dire need of a cultural facelift. And I believe that by asking ourselves these questions, by being consistent and vulnerable and deep, and by checking in with ourselves and with those around us, that we can start to change that culture. That by genuinely caring about the humans, both the patients that we take care of, ourselves, and others who are helping to deliver that healthcare, that is how we're going to take those first steps to change the culture of healthcare. Healthcare needs this vulnerability and connection and community. We need to feel seen and heard and valuable in order to keep doing what we're doing and showing up well for others and being able to fulfill the role that we serve in society and in our organizations. I hope that this episode served as a reminder to you to not be so busy on to the next thing, that you don't take the time to ask yourself these questions, to ask yourself, how are you really? And to check in with those that you care about and maybe those people who are new in your group. Asking any of your colleagues any one of these questions is going to help them to feel seen and heard also. So I see you and I hear you. And if you have feedback of the show, I would love for you to send me an email, themoneypa@gmail.com, and tell me what you love and what you don't love. And if these episodes truly do help you to feel seen and heard. That's all for now. This PA is out. Congratulations, you've just joined an awesome club. By listening to a full episode of The PA is In, you are officially on the Unicorn PA team. Welcome aboard. What most team members do is they subscribe to the podcast because that allows them to automatically get the latest episode of the show. The life of your dreams exists on the other side of taking action. Keep making small shifts and keep getting better. Your life will improve, your career will soar, and you will have the confidence you need to create your own success. I will see you in the next episode. This PA is out.